Welcome back, fellow investors and traders. Jeff here with another video. So right now in this current stock market dip, I think there is a lot of opportunity to buy some really good stocks in the cheap. Let's take a look at some of the price action on the S&P 500 this week. And extremely choppy, very choppy trade movement right now. We did see some highs here on Wednesday, with the spider getting over $332 per share. Pretty much, if you look from start to finish in a 5-day period, this chart is sideways. We started the week at about $328 and we ended the week at about $328. That tells you how in control of the market options traders really are. Credit spreads seem to be very effective strategy right now. And believe it or not, my portfolios are still growing very nicely, simply because I'm deploying a lot of put options and short sale strategies to complement a lot of my long-term investments. And keep in mind too, if you look at these charts correctly and you pay attention to some of these big dips, you can make some pretty quick and easy money playing weekly call options. So now one stock I am really locked in right now, guys, is Square, ticker symbol SQ. Fintech has to be one of the absolute hottest markets right now. Electric vehicles have overheated, especially with that massive run from Tesla back into the 3rd of September. I also think legacy tech stocks are a little overheated. And what do I mean by that? I'm talking about Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, basically your FANG stocks. I don't think the correction has fully set into those yet, but there is a lot of money shifting into fintech stocks. Square being one of the absolute hottest, of course, another good one being PayPal. And if you want to rewind the clock about 6 months back when the news of COVID-19 really started hitting here in the US, just take this in for how massive of an opportunity there was in Square stock. Because on the 31st of March, Square was trading around $32 a share and has 5x'd since that time, getting over $170. So big time returns in fintech. I think there's too much emphasis on traditional tech and EV automakers right now. Keep your eye on fintech. What we're going to talk about in this video, guys, is Square stock headed to $200 a share. I think it's very possible. Fintech has changed the world just as much as any other industry has, if not more. And if you notice, there's not a lot of money being put into banking stocks anymore, okay? That's really something that's getting neglected as PayPal and Square, Visa, MasterCard, those type of companies continue to grow. You're really seeing a lot of stalling out from Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, some of the more traditional banking companies. So we're going to dive into that in this video. Before we get started, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video. I appreciate all the support. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. So let's talk about why Square is on such a roll right now and why these big time fintech names really pose threats to banks. I think this is another trend you could really see change in the next 5 years. And in my opinion, most banking stocks are just not very good investments right now. There really isn't any growth. If anything, there is more of a threat looming out there than the possibility of massive growth. Now, the coronavirus did pummel the Q2 sales in the US, and that's bad news for payment firms like Square and PayPal, whose merchants are more brick and mortar than e-commerce oriented. But long-term trends bode well for the firm in 3 areas. One of those being payments. Their gross payment volume in Q1 may have declined from Q4 2019, but it was still positive 14% year-over-year change. And I'm sure most of you all have been to several businesses where you see the little square reader. GPV may turn around in Q2 as data shows that year-over-year consumer spending in the US turned positive starting on May 6th. Okay, there's a little chart I want to look at. Basic U.S. consumer daily spending has went up a lot since COVID-19 really hit. Okay, it's making a nice big recovery. That trend has extended out quite well since that time. And this is the key to everything getting back. The economy and the stock market getting back to good levels. Consumer spending has to stay high. And so Square also owns Cash App, okay? I just started using Cash App recently, and obviously I'm using it for its investment side of the platform and trying to develop opinion about it. So far, I really like it. And so here, guys, I will have a link pinned down in the comment section. If you have not signed up for Cash App yet, this link will get you 10 free dollars. Probably the most attractive thing about using Cash App, you can buy fractional shares with as little as $1. It gives you like a $1, a $10, and $100 option. Can buy pretty much any stock out there. I've not really found one that I couldn't buy yet. And so far, I really enjoy using the platform. At $528 million, Cash App's revenue for Q1 2020 was nearly triple that of Q1 2019. A large part of that is because of Bitcoin revenue, where they have brought Bitcoin onto the platform. That is up from $65 million the previous year. But their revenue is almost doubled year over year. This revenue is primarily composed of transaction fees from Cash App Instant Deposit and Cash Card, and interest earned on customer funds. So they have a very big and growing platform there with Cash App, and I think it is really very, very easy to use. And now they even offer, like I said, a very nice investing side to their platform, and you can buy Bitcoin as well. And also, too, guys, there's Square Capital, okay? It facilitates 75,000 loans in the first quarter of 2020, totaling $548 million. That is representing 8% growth. So keep that in mind, too. They are now doing loans. You look at all the services that Square offers. These type of companies are really built to replace more traditional banks. So, in my opinion, it's kind of a scary time to be a traditional bank. Now, Square's earnings were nothing short of spectacular. Back on the 5th of August, they reported earnings with an EPS actual of 18 cents. The company beat by 23 cents. I think that was kind of the under note. The real big thing is the revenue surprise, okay? The actual revenue of $1.92 billion beat by $788 million. That is a massive beat, almost a 50% beat. You know, I'm not going to do the crunch numbers and do the math on it. I can just kind of eyeball that number and look close to a 50% beat on revenue. I do recall the stock run pretty massively that day, maybe 8 to 10%, 12%, something like that. So Square is absolutely killing it on earnings. Got to keep in mind, with consumer spending being down right now or in recovery mode due to COVID-19. And then their forward guidance. So this would be next quarter. We're taking a look at their estimated numbers for next quarter. That would be roughly around the 5th of November. Their EPS estimate is 15 cents. So they did guide down a little bit on EPS, but they guided up on revenue. So $2.06 billion. There's going to be a lot of revisions up and down simply because the economy is a little bit unstable with COVID-19. Now, if we're going to judge off of what Square has done on the last quarter, in my opinion, I think they're going to blow these numbers out of the water because the economy and consumer spending is recovering. People are spending more money, and I think if we see another stimulus get passed, I think that would be your green light, perhaps to buy options on some companies like this. Maybe Square and PayPal should really run on the news of a new stimulus plan. So Square has been nothing short of spectacular on earnings lately. And this company has really came a long ways in the last 5 years fundamentally. Now, this is not the type of company, they're not really shooting for profitability right now. This company is more in growth mode, okay? They're going to stay indebted, keep a lot of money borrowed to keep building out the platform. Even with that said, even this company being in full growth mode, they do have a 5% positive profit margin. They're negative 1% operating margin, and they're about broke even for the return on assets. But here's where it gets really good. The return on equity is 20% positive. I can remember a couple of years ago, this company was about 30% negative. You know, going back to one of the first Square stock videos I made here on YouTube, this company was very negative on return on equity. So this company has found the ability to grow the platform and put up decent fundamentals. Okay, I do want to see this improve even more over the next 4 to 5 years, and I think they will. They're definitely going in the right direction. Jack Dorsey has got this thing on lockdown. They boast a 63.8% quarterly revenue growth, and if we're going to go off of last earnings, kind of average that in, guys, I think it goes higher. I think this quarterly revenue growth is going to go higher as, like I mentioned, consumer spending continues to recover. I really look for their quarterly revenue growth to be up around 75, maybe 80% after the next earnings report. And their balance sheet, okay, so $2.69 billion of total cash up against $2.66 billion of total debt. Even with that, they do have more cash than debt. That is an amazing thing. When we see that metric right there, what that tells us is we're safe buying the stock, because if economic calamity was to happen, this company is not going to lose their butt having too much debt. Okay, that can hurt some companies. It definitely hurt some companies during COVID-19. Square is going to be A-okay. They actually have more cash than debt. All right, so is Square stock headed to $200 a share? As you can see, we got very close here around the 1st and 2nd of September where it was over $170 a share. Then we've seen this market correction which is pulled back. Guys, I think this is a fantastic time to buy. I'm not going to guarantee you Square is going to be trading over $200 by the end of the year, but the one catalyst that might be able to push it over the $200 mark would be the November 5th earnings report, especially if they come in with roughly 50% revenue beat once again. I think it could push the stock pretty massively, and I think $200 per share is very, very soon to come. So my 1-year price target on Square stock is $225 per share. That's all I got for the video, guys. Thank you as always for watching. Make sure to go down to the comment section and share your thoughts and opinions with me. I always do appreciate hearing that. Thank you as always for watching the video, and have a great day.